What's up, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Tattoos podcast. My name is Chris. I am a husband, father, tattooer. Me and my beautiful wife own and operate Thousand Oaks here in Springfield, Ohio. And this is my co-host, Tim. And we're stoked to be here with you guys this evening. And let's just fucking be real. We're going to talk a little bit about how tough being self-employed is, but also on the flip side of that, how beautiful it is and how great it can be if you stick it out, weather the storm, you push through. And I know that these past 2 years, being a shop owner has had some of the most challenging times that I've really have dealt with. I, by nature, am not a people person. I am struggling really hard right now, actually. But I think bringing tattooers on and leading a group of people, a group of talented individuals, has been really tough. And after these 2 years, we've seen a lot of growing, and I'm really excited for where these individuals are, and I'm excited for what's to come. We're dialing up on the end of the year here, so kind of looking back, I never really like to ask, what we've done wrong, what we could have done better, but it's what can we do moving forward to improve, kind of thing. And I always like to kind of self-reflect and look back, because 2024, I want it to be fucking dope. I want it to be one of the best years I've ever had, one of the best years the shops had, the people in the shops had, and what can we really create that's going to allow that? So what's been some big things for you these past 2 years working at the shop that's stood out to you?
So I would say time management has definitely been a huge thing for me, like trying to tighten that up, and even at times it's felt like perhaps the thing I have missed on the most, just because I love what you said. Being self-employed is very difficult at times. It's also very beautiful, and with that comes things like building your own schedule, and more specific to me being a content creator, if I wanted to get up at 2 a.m. and do all my editing or whatever, I could just do that, and I could, schedule posts, and, there's just so many benefits to how I can structure my means of making money now. But, the bad side of that is, you can get really carried away with how you spend your time, and you definitely fall short. Because, I'm used to, you guys have heard, but I came from factories and stuff like that. You don't have someone right above you just cracking the whip. You're the one that has to provide value to yourself to create something, right? And you need to know fucking when to work and when to play, because you can't go without both. I think that's also been part of the struggle for me, is creating good boundaries. Yeah. But it all kind of goes hand in hand with time management, though. Yeah.
I know you've seen that meme that's it's I want to be self-employed so I can create my own schedule, but then the self-employed person's laughing no, you're gonna fucking work 24/7, 365. And I think that could be true, but from experience, having the ability to create your own schedule, really what the sacrifice is how fast you're getting there.
Right.
I could work 24/7 and I could speed up that timeline, but I have the ability to pick and choose and move at a pace that allows some freedom.
Yeah.
And then over time, being able to leverage, whether it be your income or your value is in what you're doing, to be able to buy back some of your time. And I think that's what a lot of people see, and that's what a lot of people are like, man, that looks fucking good.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's like the overnight thing. It's like, oh, I see you're there. I can have that, but they don't see the 10 years that's been put in, the 5 years it's been put in to allow that. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that, being a small business owner or an entrepreneur or self-employed, all those things seem pretty sexy online. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It seems very attractive. But But like you just said, that's really what you get. You're only getting like the outside and like the really sweet parts of it. When you see it, you don't see what it's like. Like I just said, time management. You don't see what paying taxes looks like, or like even now you kind of have to understand all these like legal things to make sure you're doing everything right, you know. And there's just, dude, I could keep going. I could just keep going, but you know what you do see is like that schedule building. You see like seemingly free money coming in because they don't think, like, it's just so easy to see like, oh, I can do what you're doing, you know, whether it's tattooing or taking photos. I think taking photos gets looked at real hard like that. One of my favorite memes or like kind of like videos of the last year was photographers putting this caption on their videos saying, quote unquote, "Oh, your camera takes really good photos," and then it's the photographers just like staring at the camera waiting for it to take a photo, and it's like, they didn't take the photo, man. But you know, then the counter argument is like, well, anyone can pick up a camera and just take some photos and they come out good. So
sure, I try all the time, and for some reason they still look like shit. It's like I'll be like, I'm about to take this sweet picture of Tim taking a picture of something else, and it just looks like a dog turd. Like, if you go through my phone camera, it's just like countless dad photos, just like blurry pics of my kids, and like the worst photos of Katie
from like this angle.
That's exact. She hates it. That's exactly it.
That's so good.
But it's funny you mentioned a minute ago, and I guess it just stood out to me because I've been just preparing my taxes, and someone outside looking in, and like they don't see that, but it's funny because I see every bit of it. Yeah, and they can't relate because they have a W-2 job, or they get taxes taken automatically because they're on payroll. But they think, oh, they don't see that, but it's the fucking complete opposite. I see every penny that I give away to the government, and it fucking hurts.
It does not feel good. And having been a W-2 person, I've told you this before, the biggest switch for me was like not getting a tax return. Yeah, because you could like, you can like set up on a W-2 how much the government's taken from you throughout the year, and the more you allow them to take, the bigger return you will get at the end of the year, right? Yeah. So of course, me just like being a single guy at the time, like not really doing anything, fucking take as much as you want, because it feels so good getting to like the end of the year and getting like $2,500 back. Just like it, I don't know. It just feels really good.
It's like a savings account kind of or something.
It is
out of
kind
sight, out of mind, and then you're rewarded.
And then of course you get it and just squander it all. You know,
it's free money, but really it's not.
It's just not. You know, that's W-2 math right there. Is it's free money, right?
Yeah. I think that's one thing that a lot of people at the shop will have a better go on, because I think for the first 5-6 years of my tattoo career, I made like $10,000 or something like ridiculously low, so I never really had to pay much, but kind of moving into a place where like fully legit, a lot of money goes out for sure, and it's a blessing in disguise, because really I could not turn money in, and I would save maybe $300 on $1,000. But on the flip side of that, let's say I turn that in, and the amount of money that I net, I think the bank is willing to give me 2 or 3x that amount of money, to buy a home or to invest in a business, or whatever that looks like. But when I'm just like putting it under my mattress, I'm saving it, fuck Uncle Sam, I'm really just hurting myself because I can't do anything besides like spend my money frivolously. So I think some people at the shop will definitely have a better go at it, and are years ahead of where I was when I was rolling. You know, so that's exciting stuff. I guess tax stuff, but
and it's just part of the iceberg, right? Yeah. Because one thing I know that you've learned over time, being self-employed means that you're the entire company, right? So to break that down, you are the COO, you are the CFO, you're head of HR, right? You're part of the marketing team, the sales team. You have to do all those things, and you don't want to miss on any one thing, right?
Yeah.
Except for HR. Fuck HR, But, sales, you don't want to miss on that. And to maybe relate that to the tattoo world is like, you have to not only like be able to handle clients well when they're coming to see you, but you also have to get people to come see you, right?
Yeah.
And you have to do so many different things in the business. It's not just your one thing. Maybe you just like making little mugs, and that's your business, is you make nice mugs. Well, then you have to take photos of the mugs, then you have to post them online, and then you have to sell them, and then you have to have tax systems in place, and
See, I didn't experience a ton of that pressure getting started because of just the shop I was in. It was more of a walk-in style, street shop style shop where there was always people that was kind of flowing in the door. So I had my social media, and I definitely utilized Facebook. Facebook was really the tool that helped me get my business rolling. I definitely utilized that, but I didn't have as much pressure. For one, my responsibilities wasn't so high, and I think this was pre-inflation, pre-COVID, obviously pre-inflation, pre-COVID. I mean, this was
10 years
7
ago.
to 10 years ago. Yeah. I did have a kid, so I definitely had some financial responsibility, but my means of marketing was sufficient. Facebook and then taking walk-ins in the studio. But with Thousand Oaks being more of a appointment only style shop, and I definitely think it's a little more challenging. And really, as the owner, we don't have someone that does social media for the shop. We don't have someone who makes posts for artists on the Thousand Oaks page. Everyone is kind of tasked with their own marketing, and I think that it kind of plays into what I've always wanted, because I'm not naive. People come and go, and obviously I want whoever wants to stay for as long as they want, but when they do leave, I want them to be fully prepared to go anywhere on God's green earth. I don't know where that came from, but to be able to go anywhere and pick up where they left off and have the tools to be able to do that. And there's been a lot of experiencing all those positions you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it can definitely be overwhelming, especially if you don't have a Tim.
Right. Yeah, I'm the one-stop shop, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was no one on the team who got to experience me without one. Me with even Tim, we didn't know each other prior to him starting, so he's only even seen what it's looked like to have someone like himself on the team. But I know there's a lot of artists out there that don't. It's a huge responsibility. And I think that maybe even dialing into some of the systems, or maybe even some of the tips or things that you've helped people at the shop to do to kind of help with maintaining some of that stress or relieving some of that burden. Could be good to talk about here. And then kind of circling back to last episode, applying patience as well, because I think it's really easy to play the fucking comparison game with social media these days and seeing all these killers, doing some of the best artwork that's ever been done, and that could be a whole tangent here, and maybe we'll do something after the episode. You can tune in on the Patreon to catch. We might throw something up on there. But there's just a lot to it, So right off the top of your head, maybe one tip, 2 tips that could relieve some of that stress, some of that burden.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, I'll pair this tip with a good book, Atomic Habits. I think just setting up good systems.
That's a good book.
It is so good. But yeah, I think setting up good systems for what you're trying to accomplish. We were just talking about this earlier, like sectioning off some time throughout the week to do some tasks that we would like to do together so that we can be a little bit more prepared and a little bit clearer headed when we go to tackle some of the projects that we work on together. But, good systems aren't only good because they build good habits, but also for me has an accountability factor in it. And it's really powerful when I think that you have something that you can build accountability with on your own, because we'll say you capture content and you want to like make a video, so you need to have made time to edit that piece of content, right? If you just like put that on your calendar or something, or say like you run off a notebook. I used to love taking notes. I've kind of moved towards sectioning things off in my life, but if you had relied strictly on your calendar, if you just like put that on your calendar, and as soon as that timer goes off, have some boundary with yourself, or just rely on your calendar. Like, the calendar told me to do it, so now it's time to do it. Putting that kind of faith and like putting systems in place like that, I think are really good, really good stepping stone. At least you start to become aware of how much you don't put intentional thought into this, and maybe you just like, fuck, I haven't got any emails and now I need to post. But if you had a system in place, you would have just been posting consistently without worrying about if you're getting messages or not. There's a time for when you're replying to messages. There's a time when you're trying to market yourself, which is content posted on social media. Or maybe you have like a big walk-in shop, or like a lot of foot traffic. So I would say make sure you're making time to be at that shop and be open, so that you can, whether you're like booking those people for yourself, maybe you're just like helping other people at the shop with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
At least you're in the environment and you're around others who are trying to do or doing what you're trying to do.
Yep. And you said in the last episode that you work a lot better when you're in numbers, and like with a lot of people that are like fucking trying to get it.
It's a power association, baby.
Right. So, I think Atomic Habits, read that fucking book because it's so good, and it talks about that. You can get it at
Target.
Literally, you can get that motherfucker at Walmart. I saw it.
Can you?
Hardback, baby.
That's
Yeah. But, use systems. Set up some good systems. I think that's definitely something that's helped me this last year. And, of course, I'm not perfect, but it's kind of like fucking startups. You know what I mean? Once you get all the little bits in place, you can always just go back to it and jump right in and start building from some sort of foundation. And dude, there's so many fucking good references or resources online that can help you tailor the best kind of systems for you, depending on what kind of goals you have.
There's probably some really good apps to use as well. Not just like time management apps, but also video apps that I'm sure that could make things easier for a one man show. Mm-hmm. I know that we don't really use a ton of apps. I usually use Adobe Premiere and a lot of it in there.
Well, shit, I just saw this video not too long ago where someone had taken ChatGPT and they had downloaded some extensions to it. There was one that was like a CapCut extension for Google, and then Canva. It was a Canva app extension they downloaded for Google, and they told ChatGPT to make them like a 10-second video about the stock market using the ChatGPT or using fucking CapCut. And then I guess it did it using that extension, and then it was like, okay, take that video and then put text and stuff on it that makes it look really good in Canva. Jeez. And then make it for Instagram. So really, this guy that doesn't fucking edit videos at all just got like a 10-second video that I'm sure a lot of fucking people are probably going to watch because it's a hot topic. It's about the stock market. But I'd be interested to see what that looks like for like tattoo content, because sometimes it spits stuff back that is like really floofy and like whimsical, and but you can again tailor ChatGPT or AI, I guess in general, to do anything exactly you want it to. So dude, the tools that people have these days, that I don't know how viable they are to use them, but people have, again, in a sexy way, sold this idea that you can use AI to really solve a lot of your issues the day in and day out, and it does help in some ways. We use it for some stuff.
Yeah, and I was just watching one of the extras on the Honest Tattooer podcast. I signed up for their Patreon, and one of the first clips they had was on AI, and they talk about how they use ChatGPT and use it with Midjourney and to help really create solid scripts or solid what do you call them? Fucking
like dialogue or like transcripts.
Yeah, just to create the imagery they're going for. But I was, even then, to me, that's really basic compared to what you're talking about. But I feel like I struggle a lot to use AI because I'm like, I don't want to put more than 20 words into this motherfucker. I spelled half of them wrong.
Why don't you know what I'm saying?
Right. You're giving me the same image. Like, you're putting the same text in there.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is keywording. Like coming up with the right keywords to give it back what exactly you're looking for. But in terms of being like a small business owner and just super generalized, I don't know. I've not used a lot of it outside of maybe some creative things like caption building or like transcribing text,
maybe different thought processes on things.
Yes,
stuff like that.
There's been a couple times, honestly, where I've like just not noted, like didn't know what to do in my life. I had like an existential thought or something, or an experience or something I was in, and I've used ChatGPT to like help me with it, and it will give me some legitimate answers. But of course, it's like scrubbing through thousands and thousands of Reddit pages to find me that information. But
yeah,
it's still helpful, especially when you're in a pickle.
It's a crazy thing to think about. Just that whole AI world. And it's AI right now is like the internet in 2001.
Right? Yeah,
it's gonna fucking grow so big. And I've been working a little bit on my own time to try to kind of catch that wave a little bit, but really it's like fucking over my head, and I'm working on it.
And I think it's going to be one of those things that if you don't start catching on to it, you're going to get products that are going to come out that are just going to give you their version of it, which we're literally already in that because you got an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like you're already kind of comfortable and rely on like Apple's version of AI because who doesn't know Siri? Who doesn't know how to work it, right? You know what things right now it's going to be able to give you and what it can't give you. So what's going to happen when fucking iPhone 16 comes out and it's just got this whole busted ass fucking AI in it? It's like, dude, Siri is amped up.
Yeah.
Like she can do everything now. Order your whole, which I mean, like Google Homes can already like order you grocery lists and shit, So I don't know.
The FBI is listening.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, always.
But you saying some of that makes me just think about some of the tattooers that didn't want to play nice with marketing or Instagram or like doing the whole social media thing. And I think right now more tattooers are feeling the sting from that than ever before. I don't think the industry's ever had to be its own marketer. Like no one's had to do that for themselves. The shop was just there. People are Googling the shop. They're following the Facebook page, and they're just going to that shop because it's the one that's close.
Yeah.
But right now we're in such an attention-filled world. Like there's so many people competing for that space. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just pop on my social media and just shop for different artists that do the style that they want, or style that I want. I'm not just going into random places, so you're not able to capitalize on that just flow of traffic anymore. But like if you're not doing that, and I think Facebook and Instagram is almost becoming a thing of the past. And what we've talked a lot about recently with like Google ads and pay for clicks and stuff like that. But it just made me kind of think of that. It's been a hot topic lately. I've seen that on a few different podcasts.
So what wins have you had this last couple of years, since we've gotten into this new building and been kind of past all the big chunks and stuff, and we're kind of hitting this summer, where things slow down just a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some of your bigger wins?
Well, big wins with the shop is really having people start to take off. I think bringing on tattooers and kind of having the responsibility of getting them from A to C out of Z. I mean, there's a whole fucking journey ahead of them, but seeing some kind of growth as far as network finances. I mean, that's really all it boils down to is like, can they fucking live? You know,
Right.
and I mean, money makes the world go round, really. So getting some artists in there to a point where, okay, they're seeing some, and things moving out. They're able to kind of get their life headed in the right direction. They're getting some awesome clients. That's been a huge win. But then for me personally, it's being able to buy a fucking home.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been renting for 10 years, 5-6 different places, having a kiddo on top of that, moving around, being able to buy a home. And I know that you self-employed people know that's not easy.
Yeah,
Right. And a majority of you tattooers probably can't even do it right now just because we've been on the pirate ship for so long, But putting my foot down, identifying a goal, and then just going all out with saving, turning in money, trying to be legit, and then being able to get approved for the home we got approved for is really like a dream come true. And I kind of discredit it sometimes a little bit because I'm like, well, if it's not a dream home, it's pretty fucking close because, we talked about the dream home. That's boat, big ass dock
Right.
with the lake, fucking monster windows overlooking this huge blue, that's the real fucking dream home. And that might be closer to retirement, empty nester kind of thing, But the house we was able to get, beautiful. Kids love it. It's a pretty ideal home. Good school district. It's pretty ideal. And that was fucking huge for me. And then, boom, back to back, me and Katie got married. And, that's something we were engaged for like 8 years. Like, she's been wearing a ring for a long time, bro. And when we originally talked about it, like, the goal was to be able to have like a pretty baller wedding. In mind was like the traditional style wedding, to where we could have a super nice event and not be just something that, because there's a lot of people, especially over the years, said, just do it. You don't need to do nothing big. You don't need, so much to the point where even mentors in my life were saying, like, dude, I don't even think about my wedding very often. Like, just get married, That's what's important. Just get married. But in my head, I'm like, man, if I'm going to do this once, like, I want to fucking remember it.
Yeah.
So we put it off for a long time. And then finally, we were able to make it happen. We went the route of me and Katie. We went out to Glacier National Park. It was fucking beautiful. Just me and her, no kids, no family, which was kind of a bummer, but it was totally worth it, man. It was surreal. We think about it all the time. We got multiple pictures in the living room. And it was just 6 days, no kids. It was beautiful. So being able to do that back to back, get a house, get married, it was fucking real nice. And that's definitely huge wins for me. And now I'm kind of okay. Now that's and it's not the greatest mindset to have, but I'm thankful for it because it keeps me moving forward. Like, I've hit a check. I've hit a big goal. Like, what's next on the radar? And that's kind of the season I'm moving into here. But that answered your question, right? Was there any more to that?
No. I thought that was buying a house and getting married. That's fucking pretty good wins, And I was curious because you said mentors in your life had told you that they don't even really think about their wedding. But I obviously know you. If you're gonna do something, like you said, do it once. I'm gonna fucking remember it. How really did you guys come across, the glacier thing? Was it like I want this to be special for us, and let's do something maybe a little bit different.
Social media.
Really?
Yeah, social media, Instagram. We found Katie found this girl. It's Unchanted Charters on Instagram. And she just elopes people, but she just got pictures all over the West Coast: Arizona, Oregon, Washington, Montana. I think I said Arizona. Basically, that whole side of
just a beautiful Midwest.
Yeah, and she just had a list, very detailed, very laid out. We didn't have to plan shit, which was nice. She just asked us a few questions and orchestrated it all. But she just had a list, and out of everything, that's just the one that stuck out to us the most. And funny story, we were at the whatever building it's called where you get your marriage license, and I knew that, okay, Yellowstone's in Montana, and the lady was like, what made you guys decide here? Usually people just look at a photo and decide. And I was like, well, yeah, bitch, that's what we did.
Right.
That's, I've never been here. That's, and I was like, well, we just watched Yellowstone and Montana. And she was like, oh, no, don't tell anyone that. like don't tell no one that. Like they're rivals or something. It's both Montana, but I guess Montana's huge and Yellowstone's on one side, Glacier's on the other, and it felt like a fucking rivalry or something. And I was just like, man, what a bitch.
Right, dude. That's you have like two very beautiful places in the same area, and it's just like automatic rivals.
Yeah.
Like, what? Come on.
they're competing for the tourism, but they're also resentful of the tourism at the same time. That's like the vibe I got. I was like, okay.
That's kind of funny though. I mean,
whatever. It was funny. Side tangent, but yeah, it was just Instagram, man. It's a powerful tool.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, that's I mean, you see people do it, and I think it's cool because I was just in a wedding. I was a groomsman in a wedding, and it is always beautiful to go to those things. But dude, I was just because I'm the kind of person that I would love to just go hiking through mountains, even if I'm not getting fucking married. It just sounds epic. Yeah. You get to see like such beautiful things, and seeing some of those photos that you guys got or whatever, is just like fucking unreal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It seems like a not real place. Like, did it feel that way when you were there?
It felt fucking surreal, bro. For real. Like, yeah. And I know we talked about it at one point, but I can't remember if it was one of the episodes we decided to
fucking chalk.
Yeah. But
yeah, you guys got to sub the Patreon to get all the extra shit.
Yeah. It was beautiful. I mean, breathtaking, But yeah, we want to go back, I wish we could go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what those where you're gonna get that ranch house in the mountains you was talking about.
Yeah. Well, and the craziest part about it, because we're talking about business, being self-employed, and once we got there, it was like nothing else mattered. Didn't really have service anywhere. Like, we couldn't do business. Nothing else mattered. Now, getting there was a challenge. We missed our flight. It was my fault. I thought Katie was about to leave me right there in the airport. I did.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
We stayed in. We went and got a hotel room for a few hours because our flight was later that day. We found another one later that day, but we just stayed. And she went up to the room. I went and got breakfast. I gave her like an hour, 2 hours to
gotta do it.
Decompress. And, I was like, yeah, we can get there 45 minutes early. No big deal. We walk in. Little did we know they quit checking bags for flights 45 minutes early. But there was also like 50 people in line.
Oh,
so we were like within 10 minutes, and they're like, nah. And it was a terrible time. But we made it. And when we got there at like, it was like 3:30 in the morning. The car rental place usually closes at 1. For some reason, they were open, and they had one fucking car left.
That's beautiful.
It was crazy. Thankfully, because I would have been in a world of shit if we had to sleep in the airport. I would have put myself in a world of shit.
Yeah.
But once we got settled in, we had a nice little cabin. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. And then flying back, and this was the whole point of the story right here. We crossed the bridge over Kentucky, because we flew back into the Cincinnati airport, which is in Kentucky. Don't make no sense. But we were driving over the bridge coming into Ohio. And as soon as we got in Ohio, I don't know if it was just because I drove there so many times for business purposes but it's like it all fucking flooded back, man. It was like immediately just started thinking business. Like on my way home, like I'm like trying to stay off my phone to like handle shit. And it just like flip of the switch right back to it, and I couldn't help it. It was just back to the grind.
Have you like thought on what that was? Like
as far as like why that flipped the switch? No, I mean if we're talking about habits here, you mentioned atomic habits. There's cues. There's like triggers that will trigger a habit. Like one, for instance, I smoked cigarettes for a long time. I eat food. That's a trigger that makes me want to smoke a cigarette. Right. Even without smoking cigarettes anymore, that still triggers that. So I just think seeing familiar places, having rode that same road, headed past Centerville, kind of areas that I've worked, I think it just triggered it. I think it cued that habit up, and it just kind of flooded back. That's really all I think it was.
Do you think there's a way for you to like, because I relate so much to that, but it's like I don't fucking go anywhere. So I wonder how there's like it's just funny that because I had this thought, like as soon as you get back to Ohio, like as soon as you hit Ohio, it's almost like a bubble, like a home, and I had never thought about it that way. As like is it like a bubble around where we live that is if we are to go on vacation, we're like able to really let it go because we're so far away from where we feel like we're capable of doing those things. Or maybe it's like we go out and be like, okay, I really need to just let my life exist back there for a little while so I can do this and like get something new to take back with me. But I don't know, thinking about it that way, like Ohio's got this little bubble, or where I guess I live has this little bubble around it that I'm just always trying to like move too fast, or I can't smell the roses. It's got to be something I'm doing. Like, again, talk about habits. I really just kind of thought to myself, maybe there's a habit that can be fixed or worked on, that I could start feeling and seeing some better progress. Because again, we never wanted to come out here and just say that we're the fucking dudes. And of course, I'm not like fucking drowning in my life right now either, right?
So what's like one habit? Like what's one instance you're talking about? Like one scenario where this is happening?
I guess it would be like, I guess maybe this is on one of those chalked episodes we had, but feeling like I'm spinning my wheels out. Like I'm not making progress, and I'm just like, it's almost like I'm thinking too hard about the amount of progress that I want to do, or like, oh man, this next thing I'm going to do, it better have like this much momentum that comes with it or something. And then just like feeling like not doing it because the results aren't what you want or something. Like, for example, like just posting, because like the last couple of weeks, or I would say like maybe last week in particular, we posted a lot on social media. And sometimes I can feel like it has a lesser return.
Yeah.
So it,
Well, and that was what sparked for me. Yeah, it's like someone whose job is social media. You research social media a lot. And like when you're researching social media, you're not stopping and analyzing posts that fucking don't do anything. You're like constantly looking at shit that's popping off. So you're seeing these inflated numbers. You're seeing these, hundreds of comments. This stuff stands out to you because this is what you're trying to duplicate.
Yeah.
But not getting that would for sure make me feel like that. For sure.
Right, like the wheels are spinning out.
It just isn't happening for me. How can I make this happen faster? But I think that there's a lot of people that feel that. A lot of young teens, young adults, graduating high school, going through college, they're feeling that same fucking thing because Instagram just, you see people shine. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one part of this podcast that we really want to not harp on and not seem daunting, But like, talk about the realness of it. Talk
Yeah.
about the fucking struggle victories. Talk about the shit we're going through and the hard times, because it's easy to get on here and like, look at us, we're looking good, pat my ego, make me feel,
Mm-hmm.
But to be like, okay, ego aside, have some humility. Like, this is what I'm going through, and it's fucking tough, And hopefully, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. Now, we don't want to be all fucking that way, because our lives are really blessed, and there are a lot of upsides and a lot of beautiful things that happen. But I keep coming back to that meme. It's like 24/7, 365.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a career; it's a fucking lifestyle. And
Right, and that can almost sound cringy, but it's just like, how else do you explain it when, like, dude, I was never worried at fucking, the middle of my day, like my time. I was never worried about those boxes getting fucking filled, or those trucks getting loaded and shit like that when I'm at home, because I was just an employee. But I also never thought about all the beautiful things that have happened in my life while I was on a W-2. And there's so many people that are like fucking elites at saving their money when they're working a W-2, or they're doing really good at the company that they're at, so they get to make those things happen. But I gotta say, me at a W-2 working at someone else's company, I struggled to make beautiful things happen in my life. But now that I'm here, and this is kind of where I was like heading with it, is like, it is 24/7, 365, but how can I like fucking make sure I'm getting those like memories too? Because, dude, me and like, for business owner to business owner, and like, I'm not a father, but I know that you are, and you've shared with me, it's like, missing moments with your kids and stuff like that, and you're not even thinking about it. Like, it's heart-wrenching afterwards, I'm sure, to really settle on that. But how do you fucking, is there ever going to be a sweet spot? Is there ever going to be like a fucking, I'm hitting my groove. I'm finally feeling like I'm like doing all of the right things for my business. I'm doing them all at the right times. I've got patience on lock. Like, I feel good about, like, maybe I'm not blowing up on social media, but, I'm happy with what I'm doing, but I'm also, like, making really astounding memories at home, or in my personal life, or hitting some personal goals, too, because I don't know about you, but I've got, like, categories of goals at this point, like, multiple, that maybe when I started out with, like, just trying to get better at life, at the beginning of this whole journey, it was just work. I was like, okay, this is all I got to focus on. I don't need to look at nothing else. But now it's like, with that, the beauty of being self-employed, I've just opened myself up to so many more ideas, like streaming. I remember being a kid, like fucking 15, 16 years old, and just seeing like YouTubers and stuff play video games, and it's just like having a good time, and they're they've got communities, and you hear about they're like getting paid and all that stuff just to do what they love, and you're like, I fucking want that. But W-2 fucking make you forget all of that. Like so far from, like, forgetting isn't even the right word. You like remember it, but you've deleted the possibility completely out of you. So I guess I just have so many like goals now that I'm open up to, that they have categories, and my only goal isn't just work now. Like, I've got like personal goals that I actually care a lot about now, because I've opened myself up to caring about them, like legitimizing them, and validating. Maybe that's a better way. I validate some of these older goals that I have, albeit they might not be the same goals other people have, and they definitely might not be the same goals that other people have for me, but trying to find that sweet spot. Like, wonder if there's ever going to be a sweet spot where I feel like I'm doing all of these little goals justice.
Well, I think the comparison game is for sure the thief of joy, But at the same time, there are instances where I'm beating myself up, feeling like I'm not progressing, but then I have to stop and look at majority of the people I know and compare to that versus what I'm seeing on Instagram or some of the top influencers. You know, some of the people in my life that I know hands on, you know, and slap some gratitude on it, because they would, maybe kill is not the right word, but they would do a lot to be in the position I am, you know. And then also remembering the Gary V, you know, his take on it. He's like, oh, you're not 30? Shut up. You're just a kid.
Right.
You know, like,
you know,
you got such a long life still. And to think about it,
you're not wrong.
if I'm shooting for late 80s, early 90s, I'm fucking not even halfway there, you know. And some of the mentors in my life, some of the people I've worked with who are mid 30s, late 40s, early 50s, who are still striving to hit goals that I've hit mid 20s, late 20s. That's like, okay, I gotta fucking stop beating myself up. I gotta listen to Katie when she says I'm working too hard, you know, and try to focus more on that stuff, you know, because I definitely have missed those times with kids, and I don't want to miss that stuff anymore, you know. One of my biggest reasons for doing that side venture was I wanted to have another one. I wanted to be home, you know, because I missed Logan's first steps. I missed our first words. You know, I mean, I work 6 days a week, and I remember Katie calling me right at 8 o'clock and like, hey, are you off yet? Like, I need you to come home.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, fuck, you know, making crumbs in comparison to, you know, today's standard.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing the $300 home, which is still could be decent for some, but in today's world, if I don't think anyone wants to settle for $300.
I don't think you can
before taxes,
right? Yeah.
making like 175, 220, 215
after
post taxes.
Yeah.
You know?
It literally adds up to like $15,000 a year.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Rough times, but I think thinking about some of that stuff and trying to bring some gratitude back into things definitely helps with that feeling. You know, and we have worked hard, man. We've put in our hours to be able to leverage that time, which I think is big, you know. Some people want to put that time before they're able to, and then it really fucking ignites that, like, anxiety, depression, you know, discontent, like, all that shit could, you know. So there's a period of time where you got to go all in and make sacrifices.
Right.
But I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean,
I think I remembered what you asked in that, and then I think I hit it on the head. But.
Yeah. I mean, just coming up with better habits for gratitude, I think, would be the thought there. Because that's what's difficult is like, or I guess maybe for the way that I work, and like I said, the tip that I gave is like good systems and building good habits towards that. Because systems, I think, will eventually build the habit. Yeah. And then now that you have the habit, you kind of forget the system even exists. Yeah. Because you're just doing it. Of course, like, you know, your shit's on the calendar or whatever. But just like some sort of better habit. Like, what are the habits for gratitude and gratefulness?
Depends on what level of discontent, anxiety, depression you're dealing with. Dude, I remember riding around in my vehicle, and I would have sticky notes taped all over my dashboard, saying dumb shit, smile, you know, be happy. You're just like, I am good enough. Stuff like that. I had fucking sticky notes all over my dash. I felt like a crazy person. But you can go get a dry erase marker, put that shit on your mirror. Yeah. I mean, you could set alarms on your phone. You could fill your life with gratitude if you really wanted to. There's all kinds of opportunities for that.
All right. So, if you guys have, you know, stuck it out with us this far, just want to take this small moment to tell you guys we appreciate you. Very grateful to even be able to sit here and that there are some people listening to this, because the response we've gotten so far from the episode releases have just been awesome. You know, we've had clients reach out telling us what they think of it. You know, fellow tattooers, friends, family, and, you know, that always feels really good, and that's a big win for me. So just wanted to say appreciate you guys and drop that we do have our website now, and we do have some merch. So
if you made it this far, you fucking need a shirt.
Right. You need to go get a shirt. Because you've hung out with us through some shit, but it was good, getting to spend this first couple episodes just kind of telling people where we came from and how they met us and stuff.
For me, honestly, it's just been nice reminiscing.
Right, yeah. Good memories. And we don't do it a lot unless we're trying to use it as an example towards a topic we're trying to talk about at the shop or something. But really getting this opportunity to, all right, Chris, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about what we've been through.
Yeah. It's actually have some intent behind the conversations.
Right. It kind of feels like start out like therapy a little bit, but it was good. And I'm just really looking forward to, now that you guys are all caught up to where we're at and where we've come from, what's coming for us, right?
Yeah. And like I said, 2024 is going to be awesome. And I'm really grateful for the artists we do have at the shop. Thea Maxwell, Grace Eckert, Dylan Caldell, Becca Paoli, my beautiful wife, Katie Van Noy, Katie Powell. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Katie Powell, she does awesome eyebrows, permanent cosmetics. But I just want to say thank you to you guys, for being a part of the shop and helping build the culture that we're trying to create and live into. And I'm just circling back to gratitude. I'm just super grateful. Life's good. Sometimes I beat myself up and kind of forget that, but it's good, and we're excited about where we're going. So moving forward, we're going to try to be loosey-goosey. We're going to have some fun topics, try to keep the entertainment value high, and try to just create a vision for where we're going, what's going to be happening, and bring you guys along on that journey, and hopefully inspire, encourage, while also being inspired, So really appreciate you guys.
I had maybe one thing that we could each share before we kind of tie up this getting caught up with the journey series at the beginning of this. What is something that you think would be really cool to do with this show? Doesn't have to be crazy or anything like that, but what's something you just think would be cool?
Well, I think that a lot of times we get caught up in our own bubble. Springfield's not a huge city. I think that it's easy to not really know what the rest of the world's like, to what other people are up to, besides what you see on Instagram, but connect people with all walks of life. Tattooers, business owners, people who are just going somewhere. I think it would be cool to have them on this podcast. Take it all over the country, all over the world, at some point. Bring all kinds of people over to my basement where we're recording this.
Right. It's a nice basement, at least,
Sounds cringe, but it's chill.
Yeah.
But I think that's it, really. And I want to broaden my own horizons, and I want to experience new things and mindset and just ways of being that I don't know. So that I think that's, for me, that's really where I would like to take it. And I don't know. I'm still working on creating that vision. The whole podcast scene's pretty new to me. But I like the voice that it gives people, because it's all bullshit aside. It's straight from the horse's mouth,
Right.
You're not being filtered through any middleman. You're not letting anyone else shape the narrative. It's what the people think, which I think's dope.
I think so cool. Too. Right. It's something I'm really excited to maybe making happen. I come from a music background, so when I was younger, it just always seemed like it would be so cool to go on tour or whatever. Now I know you can do mini tours, and there's promoters that set all that stuff up for you, but I think it'd be cool to do a little circuit, a little show circuit with this, and just You know, pretty much for the same reasons. It's just connect with people that I otherwise wouldn't online or something. Or I guess I shouldn't say maybe not online, because I'm assuming the people that would show up for those shows probably know us because of online sources or whatever. But, you know, just actually get to see those people in person, you know, to maybe do a couple of episodes at some conventions coming up this next year or something like that, and maybe kind of funnel that into doing like a mini circuit where maybe we go to like 3 or 4 places that are like bigger places, and maybe it's at a convention, or maybe we like rent out our own little like
Airbnb it up. I could do it at someone's tattoo shop.
Fucking see
business. I mean, possibilities are endless.
That would be so sweet. I think going to someone's shop in particular would be super cool. Like maybe if we had planned out like 4 or 5, maybe 6 different stops where they're like in this like tri-state area, and we're just like bam, 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 bam.
It'd be so easy to travel with a table and mics, a couple chairs. Set up wherever.
It'd be so rad.
That's dope, man. I think that's doable as fuck. We just got to keep showing up and just stay consistent. Just like all of us, all the business owners out there, you just got to keep doing the thing.
That's right.
Where they say the only way to fail is to give up. You know, so appreciate the shit out of you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on the next one. You guys have a good evening.
Peace.